Splat.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. I love that
Yeah.
opening. It
Yeah,
makes me
what
so happy every
what
time.
Robert didn't know about that opening is that I accidentally turned on the mics when the when the opening started.
So everyone got to hear my sound effects.
Yep, it sure did.
Great. Ta-da. That's the new opening with weird, sad sound effects. Splat. Hello. Happy Monday. I'm Robert Fisher,
And I'm
and this
Art.
is Art. Da, 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 da. And welcome to Perception Paints. I'm going to show you today how to paint step by step this beautiful kind of travel poster-esque inspired portrait of Tatooine in honor of May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Yay! Actually, I have planned for the next at least 6 weeks, hopefully 9 weeks, doing a Star Wars inspired poster art for each week, one for each movie, one planet.
Sweet.
Yeah, so next week we'll do Hoth, and then the third week we'll do Endor, and so on and so on and so on. And so on. So join us, and you can paint with us every week, and then you'll have a whole gallery of Star Wars art that you can put up on your walls. May the 5th be with you all. Thanks, Tiger On. Art, how you doing? Everything good?
That's
Did you have a
good.
nice weekend?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think so. Yes.
good.
Yes, I did.
If
I
I
had
recall, yeah, okay, yeah.
I had sushi last night, so I'm happy.
Nice. Did you go to that same place you guys went to last time?
No, there's a
It
place.
sounded so good.
It was closed. Amber wanted to go, but they closed early because we were gonna do it for dinner. So we actually went to a place that's 2 blocks from us. It was good.
Nice. Well, good. I had a very uneventful weekend, but
Yeah.
still pretty busy. Yeah, we've been redoing our backyard, so we've got like new plants and bird feeders and a hammock, and we got some ivy trellises to put around. So trying to create a really nice outdoor space for ourselves. Yeah. So let's go through and check our materials, make sure we have what we need before we get started.
Okay.
First off, I have a 16 by 20 inch canvas. Ta-da! There are snowmen hidden in there. This is an old canvas. But you don't have to use the same size, the same shape, or even use canvas. You can use whatever you like or whatever you have handy. So you've got paper, cardboard, poster board. You can also do this digitally and follow along with us on your iPad or your Surface Pro. All the steps are the same, just different materials, right? So I've got my Surface. Reed Cooper, you see nothing. There's nothing there. You don't see anything. You don't see anything. Okay. Next up, you will want a cup of water. All right, so this cup of water is to wash off your brushes in between paint colors to make sure that the paints don't mix as you're going through. And speaking of which,
Not me. Is that you?
the buzzing,
Yeah.
it's me. My husband's downstairs doing something in the garage.
Oh, I thought it was audio feedback.
No, it's just him down there. Quit doing stuff, honey. Go sit down. Go watch the Housewives. Go watch the Housewives yell at each other. Okay, so I've got my cup of water. You will also want something to drink. So I've got my regular water here. Got a lid on it just to make sure you don't accidentally put your paintbrush in there as you're cleaning off your brushes. You want to stay hydrated, especially as it starts to get hotter, right? Next up, I've got a towel. This is an old junky towel that I just wash whenever I feel like it.
Nice.
Clearly it's been a while. But you can use any sort of paper towel or napkin, whatever you have handy, and you'll want this nearby to make sure that you are drying off your brushes before you get your next paint color. The reason you want to make sure that your brushes aren't too wet is because if they are too wet and you apply that watery paintbrush to the canvas, the water will drip down the canvas and rip the paint right off of there. So I want you all to get in the habit, after you've washed your brushes out thoroughly, dab it dry with your towel and then get the paint color as you normally would. And speaking of brushes, I'm using my standard 3 today. I've got a large, a medium, and a small brush. As long as you've got a large, medium, and small, you'll be good to go. They don't have to be the exact same brushes that I've got here. But my large brush is a 1-inch flat brush. My medium-sized brush is a 1/2-inch flat brush. And then my small brush is a number 2 round brush for the details. And you can see the flat brushes are very flat once you turn them to the sides. So those are my brushes. And then next up, you'll want some paint for our paint, right? So I'm using a few different colors today. They are kind of weird colors from the Artist Loft collection because we're looking for a very specific color palette. But as we go, I'll kind of explain how to get these tones as we're working. They don't have to be exactly like mine. We're just going for like the shape and the feel of it. So I'll go through the colors with you first. First off, you'll want some white. I've got plenty of white paint here. Next, I've got what's called unbleached titanium, which is essentially like a yellowish white. It's like off-white yellow. I've got Naples yellow, which is yellow with a little bit of white in it. So it's the flip of that. It's not quite so saturated, and it doesn't have that like bright, vibrant, like, you don't want it to be neon. This is more of like a neutral yellow. And then my next color is a portrait pink. Now this color is a little orangey. It's an orangey pink. Think of a very light red orange. So a little bit of red, a little bit of orange, a little bit of white kind of mix up together and you get this nice tone here. We'll use that for our background. And then I've got some deeper colors that I'm using. So I've got a light violet, which is essentially a light purple. I'm also using a brilliant magenta and a deep magenta. Now these magentas are, you can get pretty close to these magentas if you take a traditional red and add just a tiny tap of blue in it. Really, really small amount of blue. And then to get the deeper color, you would just add a little bit more blue. Almost purple. And I think that's it. Let me just double check. Get the deep magenta. Yeah, that's it for today. Okay, bye. It was nice seeing you. Just kidding. Okay, so those are our paint colors. As I said, I'll go through and help you out as we're going through each of the colors and mixing them. But other than that, I think we're all good to go. Art's got us hooked up with some music. I like that you're sliding in and out.
I just
wait,
I could do that.
you.
Sorry, I was muted. I just realized I could do that, so that's what I'm gonna do.
I like it. It's kind of fun, like every now and then. So as we're going today, you can also find us at Perception Paints on our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to Perception Paints Share, you can hook up a live video feed of your painting and we can watch you as we go. And Art can bring up that screen and show us as we're doing it too. That's a great way to ask me any questions if you want me to take a look at your artwork as we're going. And I can help you out. Also, if you have any questions as we go through, or if you need me to slow down or anything like that, feel free to drop it in the chat. I have that up here too, so I can take a look and see what's going on. And then typically, as we're painting like a Star Wars theme or whatever thing we paint, we usually talk about something completely different. So I think Reed H. Cooper started the conversation and he wants to know who Terry McGinnis should be cast. Like, who's the next Batman? Yeah. I vote Bernadette Peters.
Good choice.
Yeah, right? It would be amazing. Sunday in the Park with Joker. It's going to be amazing. All right, let's get started. Before we do, let's do our quick toast as we do. All right, so we'll drink and we'll paint the best that we can. And if it don't turn out right, who gives a damn? Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, let's get started. We're going to do our background first. Reed H. Cooper. What do you mean, you people? You mean show people. All right, so I'm going to start first with my portrait pink. Again, this is a very light red-orange. So what I would do is start with some white paint, tap in a little bit of yellow, tap in a little bit of red, kind of swirl it around to get this nice light orange color. And I'm going to start right on the top of the canvas. And with big, broad strokes, we're going to apply this on there. We're filling up the majority of our canvas with this tone. But what we want to do is create a bit of a gradient on our way down. So I'm starting with this pink tone up here on top, this portrait pink. Again, light red-orange. And since the top is actually going to be my darker tone in this gradient, I'm going to add a little tiny touch of red to this from the very top. And I'm going to bring that downward. Now when you're blending colors, just keep working the paint back and forth on top of itself. And it also helps to grab a little bit of water, just a tiny touch. The water helps to break up the paint a little bit. And you can see I'm using those long through strokes all the way back, left to right, and just keep going with that. I'm going to grab a tap of water. Just to help blend that.
Hello, James.
So if I were breaking it, what's that? Oh, hi, James
Wait,
Davis. How are you?
We're talking about Jason David Frank in the chat. Why are we talking about Jason David Frank?
Jason David Frank is who would be playing Batman if Bernadette Peters can't make it that day. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down. You can be in anything.
I mean, yeah, Bernadette's already been cast, so
understudy.
yeah, exactly. You never know what's going to happen. Stage light could fall down or something like that. All right, so we're starting to lighten this up, going in back into that light red-orange. So you can see how I'm starting to build this gradient downward from that more reddish tone. Get a little bit more. Jason David Frank sounds familiar. Who is that?
The Green Power Ranger.
Wait, the green one who was also white at one point?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I had a big crush on him as a kid. Hey, Art, did you end up going to Disneyland last week?
I did.
Right?
I went on Tuesday.
How did everything go?
It was real fun. It was really
Yeah,
nice.
everything pretty seamless, nothing crazy.
Yeah, so my friend Dan, Disney Dan, is a YouTube blogger. I made an album for him. I was like, I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures. I'm gonna send to him so he can put them on his Twitter, do whatever he needs, because it's literally the first day the park was open.
Mm-hmm.
And it was real boring. I was like, there's really nothing that interesting. It's just Disneyland, but with less people. And
Right.
a few weird things. I was like, it's not a big deal. So it was very chill though.
That's good. I'm glad.
It was nice
So
seeing the park
everything
at 25% capacity, or less than 25%.
You know, I cannot imagine. I can't remember the last time I saw that when it wasn't like a rainy day or something.
Mm-hmm. It was very nice.
That's awesome. I'm thinking, hoping, praying that Jared will want to go, my husband, sometime soon. He's still a little anxious. He's not fully vaccinated, but will be. So I'm hoping that will go soon. But I keep telling him, like, I'm reading everyone else's posts and everything they're putting on Instagram and Facebook, and reading it back to him, like, oh, it's the capacity is really low, and everyone's being really careful with safety and spread apart, and no one's being terrible. So I'm hoping it stays like that.
Yeah, so far Amber says it's been pretty good.
Good. What's Amber doing right now?
Character.
I mean, not right now, but like...
Yeah, right now she's sitting at home probably on the couch.
Playing Overwatch.
Just doing her regular character lead stuff.
Okay, good. Well, I hope she's doing really well too.
Yeah, it's been good so far.
As if those jobs weren't difficult enough. And you have the addition of people being potentially terrible.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. That's looking pretty good. So as I'm bringing this down, I want it to get lighter still. So I'm going to add a little bit of white to this kind of portrait pink, red-orange color that I'm working with. So I'm going to add some white to my canvas. Pull that in there. And I'm going to be bringing this down, not all the way down, I would say at least like the bottom fourth. If I was to split it up 1, 2, 3, and then 4, just until about the fourth down there. It's funny, I can tell it's starting to get warmer because my paint is drying much faster.
The studio AC is going to be a savior when it gets real warm.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Do you guys not have AC in your apartment, right?
Nope. We have an AC, like a portable AC we can use, but it's always kind of it's always an ordeal to pull it out, put it in the window, and like.
Yeah.
Plus, it raises our power bill, so.
Yeah, no kidding. My first apartment in LA had one of those window units, and I remember I would like sit in front of it cross-legged with my Game Boy and just like trying to get whatever coolness I could get. I was in the middle of Studio City, dying of heat. All right, still bringing this down.
Oh, Reach, are you working out or did you just go? There was cast member previews for Disneyland, Reed. So Amber had tickets, so she and I went for the preview. Because the previews were Tuesday and Wednesday.
And then they opened Friday.
Thursday, yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were cast member previews. So only open to cast members and their families. And then Friday they officially opened.
Is Amber happy to be back at work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's
I bet. It's a long time. Like 400-something days to be out of work is a really long time. I struggle when it's like a week to figure out what to do with myself. I mean, I find things to do and I'm thankful to be able to take time off. But when it's forced and you're like, okay,
yeah, you don't have a choice.
Ready. Yeah. That would be crazy. Yeah, I took like 3 weeks or so.
Says, so Amber was called back, but you weren't. Yeah, the work that I was doing for Disney was, I wasn't an employee for Disney, so I was a private contractor. So I'm unlikely to go back.
What were you doing for Disney?
R2, remember? R2D2.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. Shoot, I hope they bring that stuff back.
Me too.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going through and just cleaning up some of my gradients. If there's any spots where the colors don't seem to blend too well, if it seems a little chunky and stripy, like up here between the red and the orange still seems a little chunky, I'm just going to paint in the area directly between the two and try to blend that a little bit more. And again, water helps a little bit. Just a little.
Reed says Disney's so weird. Yes, it is.
Disney is weird. It's very much a love-hate relationship that I have with Disney.
The other day, I had to explain to a friend how Disney works. So we were talking about. Did you see the Groot animatronic they built?
The new one, right? The walk around.
Walk around. He was like, "Oh, I'm sure they're just gonna put it in the park." I was like, "Well, that's if the park wants to pay for it." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, if a park wants it, they have to buy it from Imagineering. They have to pay for it to come and operate." And his mind was blown. It's like, wait, they can't just have it and just put it in because they have it. It's like, no, there has to be operational costs that a department in the park has to pay for it. So entertainment, whoever's going to take over the project, has to pay for it. And it's not just, hey, I made it, so use it. It's definitely, there's budgets that have to go into it. So it's really weird.
Which means we'll probably never see it in the parks, unfortunately.
That's what I was explaining to him. Imagineering does a great job of creating all these beautiful things that rarely make it into parks.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton. There's the flying Spider-Man, like acrobatic thing that they designed that's really cool.
That's happening, so that's cool.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it is. That one's live. That's been installed.
Cool. That's very cool. I'm glad. What else? When they opened Fantasyland at Disney World, they had that actual dragon, like flying around, breathing fire.
They used once.
Yeah, they used it once, and I'm sure it cost millions.
Oh, it's so cool. Oh, and the X-Wings. They built the X-Wings for the opening of Star Wars Land. Did you not see those?
No.
And when they opened Star Wars Land in Florida, they had a ceremony there. These X-Wings came up and flew up into the sky that were behind... They flew up above the Star Wars Land. And
That's
took
cool.
off. Yeah, those are really cool.
Oh, I didn't know. Were they like drone based or what?
Mm-hmm. They were just...
That's awesome.
Big ass drones.
That's so cool.
You can find it on YouTube.
You should have shit like that. I'm gonna check that out.
And
there's some other walk around stuff. There was that dinosaur, the lucky dinosaur thing that walked around.
Cool.
And then Bunsen Honeydew, Muppet Labs.
Muppet Labs.
I loved
really
that
cool.
one.
I wish that would have.
I heard that one's in Epcot every now and then.
Oh, is it? Did it end up over there?
Yeah, but I did happen to see it once, and I was like freaking out. So excited. Okay. All right. Well, that's our background. And you can see I've left down here as it kind of faded into a whitish tone. All this I'm going to paint in with all of our like textures of the rocks and the landscape and everything like that.
Reedy Cooper says, I know Galaxy's Edge is not as good as it could have because of the weird financing structure. Or just stuff sitting in the warehouse. Yeah, when they said Galaxy's Edge was happening, they were gonna have droids and a bunch of other stuff, and then again the whole operational cost became a thing, so they scrapped a bunch of things. They tested the robot, the droids that were going to walk around. They had them at D23, and they also at Tomorrowland they did tests. And the idea of this robot was that it was like a little roaming droid that was meant to be independent. So they had hosts out there with them, but were instructed not to interfere with guests. Like if they touch them, they touch them. If they push them, they push them. They wanted to make sure that it's a robot that can live on its own. And they did it. They built it, and then it never got used.
It's too bad. Even just to add some additional actors walking around, not just characters, but like actors, so it actually feels like you're in a space.
No.
The cast members do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Like at the stores and the carts and stuff, but still you want that added level of like atmosphere.
Yeah, they don't.
And I think there's just the one, right? I can't remember her name. The blue hair.
Bye.
Yeah, she's great.
She's cool.
Yeah, I would just wish there was more of that.
Yeah, they don't like to pay for actors.
They don't like to pay for anything.
Yeah, like lightsaber where you buy a lightsaber thing, and that should be an Agva role, but it's a stores person, which the people that I saw did a decent job, but like it should be an actor role who's doing the whole presentation.
Which means they don't have to pay the, what is it now, $30 an hour for an Agva. They just pay the $11 or $12, if that. Yeah. Oh, James Davis says, if you have video quality at 144 or 240, you will have way less buffering.
Yeah, he's talking to somebody who was...
Oh, at Tigron. Yeah.
Tigron, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's too bad. There's a lot of great ideas. That's kind of what... I growing up, I wanted to be a Disney Imagineer. And then when I went to college, one of my teachers was an Imagineer, and he was like, just don't. It's unless you're high up enough where you can help to design something and then push it through the executive ladder to actually make it happen and bring it to the parks, you're just going to be designing stuff and never see the light of day. Because they just keep squashing everything.
Imagineer friends have just told me exactly. They complain about Disney the same way we did.
Yeah.
About management and stuff,
It's too bad. To put it in perspective, when it's really, really hot, they would like shorten our sets as characters. They were like, oh, you can only be out there for so long because it's really, really hot outside. And then if it was really nice, at a certain level, they would give us like generic Gatorade. What was it? Powerade?
Powerade. It was Powerade, yeah.
Yeah. But like they would always pretend like the temperature was just off 1 point, so they wouldn't give us Powerade. Like it had to reach 105 or something like that. And they're like, oh, sorry, it's 104. No Powerade for you today. Just so sad. Well. All right, so we're going to start on our background now. I mean, not our background, our landscape of Tatooine. I'm going to start with the light violet, which is a light purple, just to do as a bit of a base. This is that kind of, not the rounded dome that you see there, the dark rounded dome, but the one just behind it that's in the lighter tone. We're going to put it right back there. So I'm going to wash off my brush and get all that orange and red out of there.
Option Delete says, I love the idea of building a lightsaber, but is it just me or is the hilt super girthy? It is a little girthy. It is a little thicker. And he said, I know someone who actually made a lightsaber and used other gases to make it change color.
Ooh.
Your lightsaber will change color depending on what kyber crystal you put into it. So when you build your lightsaber, they literally come out with this little thing. They're like, pick your kyber crystal, and you pick your color, and you put that in your lightsaber, and that makes it the color. And then you can buy other colors and then put them in your lightsaber, so you can make it whatever color you want.
How much are those kyber crystals? Like $20 each?
$15.
Oh. Here's another piece of plastic.
Yep.
Throw this in there. Hi, dead boy. Hello, hello. All right, so I'm going to start with this light violet. And really, I'm just building up some mountainous textures. I'm not going to go too high up. I'm going to go, again, about half of the way, sorry, quarter of the way up the canvas. So right about there. That'll be my highest point. And then I'm going to bring this down, not all the way. I would say bring it down to your lowest point. So if this is the lowest point of your purple over here, just bring it over there because we're going to layer other colors on top of it. And you don't want to put too much paint on here as you try to add some more colors. Hi, Emma. There we go. Yeah, I've only seen one of the lightsabers. No, two. I've seen two of them. Garrett Flores had one. He brought us to see Galaxy's Edge when it first opened. And he got one. It was really cool. I can't remember which one he got. It was one of the like earth elemental looking ones.
Yeah.
So it just looked like organic. It was kind of cool looking. And then his friend got a more traditional one.
Yeah, when we went to the previews, Amber and I were like, should I do it? I was like, it's like $220.
So much money.
I was like, you know what? I was like, I gotta do it. I'm gonna do it now. So I did it. Went through the whole experience, came out, and Amber looked at me and said, I want one too. So we got back in line, and then she bought hers, and then she did hers.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, James Davis, put that lightsaber video on. I want to see that. Option Delete says, what is that gloved character in the photo behind you? It looks spacey as heck. Are you talking about this one up here?
Yes.
I'll show you. Usually I take it down. It does look kind of weird in the corner, huh? I'll bring it down. Oh, well, first off, this is a picture of my husband looking cute as fuck. He's like maybe 5 or 6 in that photo. It's one of my absolute favorite pictures.
I was going to say your husband is very young.
I like him young. So I think this was the last time I went to D23 when I saw you guys there back when Disney Interactive was a thing and Disney Infinity was a thing.
Yes.
Connie knows. It is indeed Miss Scarlet. Leslie Ann Warren was there signing autographs in Autograph Alley, and I freaked out because I love her and I love Clue. Clue's Jared's favorite movie, so I got this for him while I was there. She was so sweet. Miss Scarlet. Leslie Ann Warren is she was on Cinderella, like Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella, before Brandy did it. But after Julie Andrews did it. Trying to think of what other like stuff that people would know. Victoria. Look it up if you don't know. Other than Clue, she's amazing. Yeah, of course, happy to share. I've got so many weird shit all over the place. One of these days I'll have to show you some of the other stuff I've got hanging up all over.
I saw Carly J. Repson do Cinderella.
Ooh, that would have been good.
She was really, really cute.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I was like,
yeah,
you're more than the Call Me Maybe girl. You're actually talented.
Right? Yeah. I like her voice. I hate the song.
Yeah, she's actually really good. I was very surprised. And Fran Drescher was her mom, was the stepmother.
I would have loved to have seen Fran Drescher do that.
It was great. That's
perfect for her. I love The Nanny. I'm not allowed to watch it because Jared hates it, but I love The Nanny.
I'm just scrubbing through that video right now. It looks really cool. The lightsaber the guy
through the lightsaber.
It's like a plasma saber. It's cool.
Dead Boy, I'm glad you're doing art with us today. At least we get to do art together. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I want to check out that video. And thank you, Dead Boy, mentioning my the podcast that my husband and I have called Mr. and Mrs. The Mr. and Mrs. Show.
How's that going?
You know, it's going really well. We have our 13th episode coming out on Wednesday. We premiere every Wednesday. And it's been good. I've been enjoying it. It's fun. It's an interesting relationship challenge for the two of us.
Yeah.
It's hard to do things semi-professional with someone that you're married to, as you know. Yes. So sometimes there's fights and sometimes there's good stuff, but it's good. It's good. I'm good, Emma. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I don't know how Art's doing. I think he's okay.
Good. Connie's doing good too. Look at her.
Connie! Hi.
It's gotta take her a second to realize she's on camera.
Yeah.
There she goes.
Hello. So yeah, you can find our podcast on pretty much any platform. I think we're on like 20 different platforms, but if you search Mr. and Mrs., you'll be able to find it.
I'll be right back.
So yeah, okay, Art's gonna go away. I'm gonna keep painting. Next, we're gonna do our Our middle ground, we did our light purple background. Next, we're going to do our middle ground. This is with brilliant magenta, so it's got a little bit more red in there. Oops, and I'm spilling it all over myself. I think I'm actually going to mix this because this looks a little too red. Hold on a second. It's the problem when you get some of these colors that are so close to each other. You're working in a really tight color scheme like this. They don't look very close as I'm working with them. Okay, we're going to skip the brilliant magenta. We're going to go straight to deep magenta. I want a bit more of a color variance in there. So I'm going to go a little more purple with this deep magenta. Connie, I'm glad you're back painting. We missed you. It figures like the one day that you aren't painting with us. Last week we did the Avatar one just for you. I gotta check with you ahead of time. We'll do more. I have another Avatar themed painting that I want to do that's coming up. Okay. Yeah, there we go. This is what I want. All right, so we've got this deep magenta. I'm going to start on the right-hand side now and start to build up some of our background. This is actually our middle ground that we're doing. And there really isn't too much of this. It's going to go right around here, staying along the right-hand side. And then it's just going to fade off a bit because we're going to fill in a majority of this with the darker purple on top. Go. Dead Boy says, I do that a lot with my sprite work, going, is that cranberry or is it cherry? Yeah, if the colors are too close, I do it a lot with my reds, my red tones, and my blue tones. I get that little color blur. I don't know what that means if I have like a level of color blindness or whatever, but it's always those two where I'm a little iffy as I'm playing with the color tones. Everything else is good. Greens, I'm good. Oranges. Yeah, it's like a raspberry color. Start with red and add tiny taps of blue to it to get it close to purple, but really you don't want it much darker than that. This is going to be your lighter tone, this kind of light purple. This is going to be like that raspberry that you were talking about. And then the one that we're doing in front of it is going to be a very deep, like wine color. You can also just do straight violet or purple if you want. Yeah, it's going to be too dark. Here I go, messing around with the reds. Okay. I'm going to start with purple as my base, and I might mix in some red on top of that. This is just a violet that I'm adding on there. Yeah, great icy light, totally. Greens are also my favorite color, so maybe my eye is just in tune with them somehow. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line directly underneath this light purple that I've done. And I'm just going to cut that straight across. It's actually going to cut across over this kind of raspberry middle ground that I painted in. This is going to be our foreground. So yeah, I'm starting with that purple. I'm going to add a little bit of that magenta, that cranberry color in front of it too, because I don't want it to be too flat in color tone. Sorry if I'm working a little quickly here, guys, only because my paint is drying. It's much faster than I would like. It's a little too warm today. All right, so I've got the violet. I'm going to add some of the deep magenta or that cranberry color in there. There we go. I might add another touch of purple or violet on there just to darken it up a bit more. There we go. Yes, it's a race against time and heat. All right, so there's our foreground. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to paint both the towers, these little energy towers that we've got here in the sample up there, and then also this domed homestead. And I believe it's the home of Uncle Owen Amperu. But who knows? Maybe it's Ray's new house. Maybe she bought some land on Tatooine. Totally up to you. Feel free to add anything else to this painting too if you want to put some random droids walking around, or there's some Jawas in the background. Okay, so I'm going to use my middle brush now, just so I have a little bit more control as I'm working. And I'm going to start with the dome. With violet, this is going to be the same color that I've got here, so just kind of mix and blend as you go to get them to go as close as you can. So there's the dome, and then the little kind of entrance. And this is going to line up right into the color beneath it. So again, I'm starting with this purple. I'm going to add a little bit of that kind of raspberry color into it too, to darken it up so it matches closer to this foreground color down here. This is what I get for painting a desert planet. Yeah, you know, it's funny. As I was going through, As I mentioned earlier, this is the first of a series that I've got planned for us. So for the next 6 to 9 weeks, every Monday we're going to paint a different planet-themed poster from Star Wars. So next week is going to be Hoth, and then the following week is going to be Endor. So you got episodes 4, 5, and 6 done. And then for episode 1, going back in time to the prequels, I've got Naboo. And then episode 2, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head which ones I've got. I'm trying to pick key moments from each, or key planets from each one. Oh, Coruscant is episode 2. And then episode 3, I've got Mustafar. Nice epic volcano battle planet. And then I'm currently working on paintings for episodes 7, 8, 9. And I'm thinking that for 7, I would do Jakku. 8, I would do Geonosis for episode 2 is a good idea. Maybe we can add in another one. That's a really good idea. The Batu or the Naboo one is pretty. Coruscant is good, but I think Geonosis would be really pretty. Yeah, we're doing Mustafar for episode 3. I can't remember what I had for 8. I can't remember the name. Sorry, gang. You might be able to help me out. It's during the finale sequence when they're on the salt planet, and all the red is kicking up in the air with those cute little crystal foxes. I can't think of the name.
I forgot about that movie. I erased it from memory.
I know. I put in there like Art's favorites. I saw each of them once and I enjoyed watching them, but there's also something that was just a little disappointing and somehow made the prequels all the more enjoyable. It is Crate for episode 2.
Great.
And then for episode 3, Exegol, like Lair of the Sith. So that's what I got planned. I don't have those last 3 up yet, but if you take a look at Perception Paints on the Discord, I put a little like spoiler of each one of the 6 that are coming up, so you can pop in there and see what we're going to paint over the next 6 weeks or so. Okay, so now I'm going to do the little antenna towers. I think these are actually like irrigation towers. Like I think they collect water or moisture and then...
Moisture evaporators.
Yeah, thank you. I knew there was something. These pretty little posts we're going to paint. Oops, that's my phone somewhere. Okay. All right, so I'm using my middle-sized brush, the thin side, and I'm just going to draw some posts going upward. And depending on how small your paintbrush is, you can get pretty detailed with this. This is not a super small detail brush, so I'm not going to go too crazy with it, but I might just tilt it in the opposite direction and add some kind of scaffolding on the sides. Maybe beef it up a little bit toward the bottom. And I'm going to do another set over here on that side, but I'm going to wash my brush off first to make sure I get a nice thin line. um, James Davis says, I don't remember the name of it. I haven't watched episode 8 since it saw it in theaters. Yeah, that's the thing. As I was like planning these, it's funny. I remember all the planet names from 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. I'm like, okay, I know like the major ones where most of the stuff happened. 7, 8, 9, I'm lost. Like, there's another forest planet, there's another ice planet, there's another like flat volcanic planet, there's another like lush green rainy planet. Like, you lost me. Still, I enjoyed it for the nostalgia of it, but I almost wish that they could just do them over. Be like, oh, sorry guys, just kidding. Those weren't real. Art does have the high ground. James is asking, do you know there was supposed to be a pink version of Pokemon for Gen 1? The starter Pokemon was going to be Jigglypuff or Clefairy. I didn't know that, but that's cool. I would have liked that. I remember being so excited when the Pikachu version, like the yellow version, came out. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of detail to this larger host here. Just kind of tapping in some color on the sides, adding a few horizontal lines in there too. And again, these are just silhouettes, so you don't have to get super detailed, but if you've got the brush to do it, go for it. Have some fun. These are the kind of details that I know Danny loves. Like, he'll go in there and get super tight.
Yep.
He'll have the photo from production, like from the set, to make sure that he has it looking exactly like it is in the film. And then I think there's a little generator right next to it. There we go. It's pretty good. Emma, Endor planet. Yeah, I'm definitely doing Endor. That'll be the 3rd. Not next week, but the week after. James says, when I saw the trailer for Rise of Skywalker, I was confused of how some of the second Death Star survived when it was completely destroyed in Return of the Jedi. Yeah. I don't think they cared at that point. I think they were like, we'll put some nostalgia here, we'll put some nostalgia there, sprinkle little member berries on top, and
Member berries.
We'll be good to go. Member berries? You member Art? I remember. Remember Chewbacca? Yeah. Reed Cooper's behind. What? You had to do cat stuff? I don't know what that is. I hope everything's okay with your cat. Or are you just cosplaying as a cat and running around the house? Like, oh, sorry, I had to do cat stuff. Okay, Emma says Death Star 2 was torn apart after the explosion in Return of the Jedi. Yeah, we were just seeing like the remnants of it on the water planet, right? Like it crashed after it exploded. It fell in onto that water water moon or whatever, the ocean moon. Again, another name that I can't remember. But that's the scene where Kylo Ren is running around and super wet for no reason because he's covered in the rain. Here comes Dead Boy with the Star Wars planets. Hoth, Endor, Tatooine, Millennium Falcon, Bespin. Wait, no, Millennium Falcon's not a planet. You know, I thought about doing Bespin, but it would just be like the one thing with a bunch of clouds and maybe a couple in the back. I wasn't sure on that one. Maybe we'll do it again later. Hope we see some Anakin in the Bad Batch. Yeah, I'm interested to see. I haven't actually seen the trailer yet. I need to watch that. Yeah, James wants to know, is your fur baby causing trouble, or you just need to pay attention to her? All right, so that's our background, our landscape. It's looking cute. I love it. Next, what we're going to do is our Tatooine moons. So I'm going to start with the yellow one because it's higher.
You mean suns?
What did I say? Moons? Too many planets, Art. Too many planets. All right. It's not a planet, it's a sun. It's not a moon, it's a sun. All right. So I'm going to take my small brush, and I'm using again, a Naples yellow, which is yellow with white mixed into it. So it's a little desaturated. It's not so bright. A little more muted. And I'm going to go about halfway up my canvas, right about here. And just to the right of center, I'm going to put a little yellow dot. And then I'm going to circle outward. From the inside out. I always like to start in the center and build outward when I'm doing circles like this because it's really easy to go too large if you just paint the circle and then try to color it in. And I would say this could be maybe 2 to 3 inches in size. I mean, you could really make it as large as you want because we've got all this beautiful sky behind it. But I'm focusing most of my color along the top 3/4 of the sun. And on the bottom part, I'm just kind of lightly brushing it on because I kind of want it to blend in to the background a little bit so it looks nice and hazy. Now, if you've got too much paint on there as you're painting your sun, you can always wash off your brush. Make sure it's nice and clean. And you can kind of lift away some of the paint. Just want that nice and hazy down there on the bottom of it. And we're going to do another one. This one is in more of a red tone. I'm going to use a Brilliant Magenta, which is red with a little tap of blue in it. Dune Desert Planet. Desert Planet? I always forget how to spell the two of them. I don't know. I would be happy with a desert planet instead of a desert planet. Just walking around with like ding dongs and ho-hos and chocolate cakes and everything everywhere. Sold. Okay, so my other son
Son.
is going to sit right over here in this area, just above this guy here. Again, starting in the center. Actually, I want that a little bit lower. Here we go. So I've got the top part there, top 3/4 or so. And then I'm going to wash off my brush. Get that extra paint off of there. And then whatever's left here, I'm just going to kind of haze around toward the bottom. Yeah, James, I would never leave the dessert planet. Partly because I wouldn't want to. Also because after eating all that dessert, I probably wouldn't be able to fit in the aircraft to take me off of the dessert planet. So you can see I added a little bit of water, and I'm just very gently adding some horizontal strokes to kind of blur the edges toward the bottom, let them kind of flare out to the sides so it looks nice and hazy. Art, what are you chomping on today?
Like little corn nuts that Danny bought. They're really delicious. They're corn nuts with tahini.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I used to have corn nuts in my lunchbox every day at school. I felt so cool. I didn't even know they made corn nuts still. I have to go get some.
Yeah, they're like little, like actual corn size.
Cute. Baby corn nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They call them cornies. Right. And that, gang, is our Tatooine landscape.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not done.
Art. Way to go. Did your iPad kick back up? You were able to catch up with us?
Oh yeah, I caught up pretty quickly.
Okay, good. Good. What about you, Reed? How you doing? Do you have any questions?
Okay.
I know, James, Art is always teasing us with food. Always. I have to eat my dinner ahead of time. But that's because I can't eat and paint at the same time. It would be weird.
Okay, let me show you mine.
Okay. Reed says, I have no idea what this is. I'm sure it's great, Reed. Ooh. Art.
I want to mess with the colors down at the bottom a little bit.
Yeah, that's really cool though. I love your background color. The middle ground is super saturated.
Yeah.
I think if you muted it a little bit, it'd be great.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna mute everything a little bit down.
But I love it. Okay, Reed's gonna post his on the Discord in a second. I'm excited to see it. So yeah, nice, quick but fun clean painting this week.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is after every week, you'll have a new Star Wars painting, and then you can have just a wall of Star Wars like travel posters up on your wall, a different planet for each one.
There you go.
Yeah. Ta-da.
Cool. Well, thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Happy to be here. as always. How's the partner push going? We're still doing all right?
Still working on it. So we're gonna keep those numbers up. So we still need people to be here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. Even if you're just lurking, we appreciate you being here. Also, just so you guys know, this Saturday, we're having a Patreon only special perception check with guest Matt Acevedo. So if you've been thinking about joining Patreon, maybe this week is a good chance so you can get to see that live. So you can check that out. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Nice. Yay. Oh, I like James's idea of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles.
Oh, that's cool.
How can we do that so that people aren't stressing about drawing Sonic? They'll end up looking like the Mandalorian. We'll figure it out.
Yes.
Oh, Reed put it up on the Discord. Okay, awesome. I'm going to check it out, Reed. I'm sure it's wonderful, as always. Yeah, if you have any ideas for future paintings or different themes, hop into the Discord at Perception Paints and let me know. I'm keeping track of them and I'm like adding them in as we go. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye everyone.